How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. This is an emergency pod because, as you know, I was recently on here with my guy, Grant Afseth. The plan was sometime Saturday evening to do, like a trade primer pod. That might get pushed to Monday now since we're doing this one because uh, Luka is just incredible. I mean, look, y'all. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about the guy. He's unreal. It's almost too easy to use the word generational because I feel like that gets overused. It's true with Luka. He is a generational talent that does not come around very often, and we are very fortunate to witness stuff like what we did on Friday night. Coming off of 3 straight losses, with the Mavs fan base, the hopes in the gutter. It's been a rough few days. It's been a rough almost 2 weeks as far as like Mavs Twitter and stuff like that goes because the Mavs hadn't won a game since January 15th. And then tonight, January 26th, I'm currently recording this at 10:30 p.m. The Mavs got a win. It was 148 to 143 over the Atlanta Hawks. And Luka Doncic scored a career high, a franchise record, and the 4th highest scoring game in NBA history, 73 points. And it's not just 73 points. He did it efficiently. 25 of 33 overall shooting, 8 of 13 from 3, 15 of 16 from the free throw line. He had 10 rebounds, 7 assists to go with his 73 points. For those who say he's a ball hog, he still had 7 assists with his 73 points. And he threw in a steal there, too. He was a plus 13 on the night, played 45 minutes. Unbelievable stuff. Like, just unbelievable. So the Mavs, they get the win. They're 25-20 now. They don't have long to celebrate this because they're probably getting ready to get on a plane right now and go back to Dallas from Atlanta, and they play the Sacramento Kings on Saturday night. So there's not a lot of time to celebrate this, and Luka might not even play against the Kings tomorrow. But man, what a game! Unbelievable, just unbelievable stuff. And for the duration of this emergency pod, I'm going to do a screen share here and just roll the highlights, the full 8-minute highlights that the NBA shared not too long ago. Bear with me just a second. Oh, let's see here. Let me take that off. Go here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to roll this. I'm going to go through all of the stuff that, this 73-point performance checked off. We're going to check in on what the Mavs look like in the standings and see just how important tomorrow's game is against the Kings. And, we'll talk about some injury stuff as well. Derek Lively, a lot of different things to talk about. Josh Green being amazing in this game. There's a lot to go over. So, I guess first thing we'll start out with is, like I said, Luka is the 4th player, tied for the 4th player in NBA history to ever score 73 points in a game. Wilt Chamberlain did it in 1962. David Thompson did it in, 1978. And then that's in, Wilt Chamberlain did it again in 1962. So 2 times by Wilt Chamberlain, 1 time by David Thompson, and now 1 time by Luka Doncic. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, what else can you say? And then in the 3 spots above Luka's 73 points, you have Wilt Chamberlain at 3rd in 1961. And then you have, let's see, and that was 78 points. Then you have Kobe Bryant's 81 points, which is, crazy that Luka did that. And I mean, today was the 4-year anniversary of when, you know, Kobe tragically passed away 4 years ago. I mean, it's a coincidence that and I'm not saying Luka went out there and did it because of any of that or trying to create a narrative or anything, but it's just funny how something like that can happen, because this was the most points scored in an NBA game since Kobe did it in 2006, scoring his 81 points. So unbelievable stuff. And then obviously the top spot is Wilt Chamberlain. So in all, you have three scoring performances that are ahead of Luka's 73 points, and 2 of them are Wilt Chamberlain. So it just shows you how crazy of a night Luka had. And I mean, he created or scored on, I think I saw this from one of the stat sites, I can't remember, but 100 points he attributed to in this game. Just crazy. He had 41 at halftime, and so he still had enough in the tank to come out in the second half and put up 32. And he could have had more than that. He missed a chippy layup. He missed he missed one free throw. There were some times where I thought he was trying to be a little too unselfish and pass it off. And my personal opinion, and Luka probably would never admit it, but he was close to a 70-point triple-double. And there, at the end of the fourth quarter, I was thinking, is he hunting these last assists to get the triple-double instead of, upping his point total? And so, I mean, he didn't get the triple-double. He didn't get more than 73. But, man, there was some real opportunity for Luka to pass Kobe Bryant's 81 points if a couple more things had, broken a certain way. So overall, just there's not much else you can say. It's crazy. He's the only player in NBA history. Let me pull up this other stat here. The only player in NBA history to have 2 60-point games. No, the only players in NBA history with multiple 60-point games before turning 25 years old: Luka Doncic, Michael Jordan. Crazy stuff. So, yeah, I'm at a loss for words. I'm still just, I don't know. Let's go over some other stuff from the game, because there's nothing else we can say about Luka. He was absolutely on fire in Atlanta. And our guy Grant Afseth, who joined me on the last pod, if you go look at his Twitter feed at Grant Afseth on Twitter, he posted a pic before the game. There was a guy in a custom Hawks Luka Doncic jersey. Imagine how Hawks fans feel tonight. Luka and Trae Young will forever be linked because of that draft night trade in 2018. And man, I mean, nothing against Trae Young, but the Mavs definitely got the better end of the deal there. Got the bigger player, and got a better all-around player. And I mean, it just is what it is. So Luka and Trae are still friendly, obviously, but the Mavs definitely won that trade. Looking at this box score, only 2 other Mavericks scored in double figures. Josh Green was the second leading scorer with 21 points. Hit some big corner threes tonight. He was 4 or 5 from 3. Had a big reverse dunk on the baseline early in the game that, I was listening to the Hawks broadcast, and, they were going nuts over it. But yeah, he had 21 points, was a +9 for the game. He shot 8 of 12 overall, in addition to those 5 from 3, had 4 assists, 2 rebounds, and he was a +9 on the night. So he was incredible. Let's see here. Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench, 13 points, only 3 of 12 shooting. Awful game from Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, he hit a big three in the fourth quarter that kind of, gave the Mavs a little bit of cushion when things were looking a little spooky. But overall, THJ did not have a good game. He was terrible on defense, and he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn for most of the game. But he did hit a big three in the fourth quarter, and he ended up with 13 points. So, in 32 minutes too. Now, other than that, now I said there were only two other players aside from Luka in double figures, but there were several guys that were close. So, Grant Williams, 3 of 6 on the night, had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, was a +5. Dante Exum also 3 of 6 and had 9 points to go with 3 assists. And then we had Jaden Hardy in 14 minutes off the bench. He had 8 points to go with 1 assist, 1 rebound, 1 steal. So, let's see. Oh, and Derek Lively. We can't forget to talk about Derek Lively. Of course, it's all this stuff happening, and then you have one of your more impactful players get overlooked. But the rookie big man had 9 points. He was a team high +16 on the night in 28 minutes. Shot 4 of 7, and like I said, 9 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 4 blocks. And he had 2 offensive rebounds. One of them was a huge one in the fourth quarter that led to a 3 that gave the Mavs some extra cushion that they needed. I mean, this was one of those games. It's one thing if a guy scores 72 points or almost has a 73 points and almost has a triple-double with it, and, it's a blowout or something like that, and then people say, oh, well, he's stat padding and all that stuff. This was not one of those instances. The Mavs needed every single bit of Luka's performance tonight. It was crazy. It was one of those games where you started to think toward the end of it, it's like, man, is this going to be like the Karl Anthony Towns situation earlier in the week? Or maybe it was last weekend. I can't remember how long ago it was, either earlier this week or last weekend, when Cat had 62 points in a loss. And then on this same night, Devin Booker with the Phoenix Suns, he had 62 points and their team lost. And there were moments where you started thinking, man, is this going to happen to Luka? Because, his teammates just didn't have it for most of the night, except for Josh Green and Derek Lively. So they were able to pull it out. Big win. Like I said before this, morale was in the gutter for the last couple of weeks, and especially after that 40 or 39 point swing, whatever the swing ended up being. But the Mavs were up 16 against the Suns in the previous game, ended up losing by 23, and they were down by 30 plus in the fourth quarter. So it was an all-time low. People saying the season's over. At least for one night, we are back, baby. We are so back. I don't know if you have seen that meme. I'm going to try and pull it up real quick. I'm sure people will probably just tune out at this part anyway, but if you'll bear with me, I'm going to show you the meme that I'm talking about here. There's one where it's got okay, I'm not going to pull it up. Whatever. It's late. Let's get going. I'll post it again to Twitter, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it's basically the cycle of your typical fan base, where it's just kind of like, oh, it's over. It's so over. And then it's like, we are so back. And that's the cycle that Mavs fans are in, at least for one night. Now, after that Sacramento Kings game on Saturday night, might be a little bit different story. But for one night, for 24 hours, the Mavs are back, and there's some good vibes there. So thank you, Luka, for that. You're amazing. can't believe that, we all get to witness this in, consecutive era, like no gap in between. We go from Dirk Nowitzki to who is one of the greatest of all time to Luka Doncic, who might be greater, or he is greater than Dirk was at this age. And, still has a long way to go to, reach the height of Dirk because of his longevity and his loyalty and his overcoming adversity and winning a championship and all that. But statistically and pace wise, like what Luka is on pace to do, man, it's not going to be a competition. And I'm the biggest Dirk fan, Dirk lover that you can know. So that's hard for me to admit, but it's just the truth. I mean, Luka is the real deal, and I can't believe, the Mavs lucked into that. I wish they would do a better job, building around him. I think they kind of rushed things by getting KP as early as they did. That they tried to rush the timeline, and they've been playing catch up ever since. Hopefully, they can turn that around. We'll see. We'll see what they do before this trade deadline. I'm not expecting too much, but there are some options for them out there, and we'll see if they can start to turn things in the right direction. I said it on the last pod. I'm gonna echo myself again on this one. Kind of think trading Tim Hardaway Jr. is the first big step in the right direction. The more I think about it, the more I go back and watch and see how those games went in the 2021-2022 season. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Mavs played their best stretch of basketball in the last 3 years when Hardaway was out with a foot injury. I mean, the guy has a ton of heart. He plays tough. He has the confidence that everybody should strive to have in their everyday lives. But I just there's something about that correlation. I feel like that's the next step for the Mavs. You move off of Tim Hardaway Jr. and in his place, you try to get a big wing, and then see where you can take it from there. So that's where I'm at. Guys, I appreciate y'all joining me late on Saturday night. Like I said, because of this emergency pod, probably going to push the trade primer pod to Monday and cross our fingers that nothing happens. But if it does, if something crazy happens in the next few days before Monday gets here, I'll be back on here doing another emergency pod. And I'll either have my guy Grant Afseth or my guy Drew Johnson, whoever's available. And we'll come back on here and talk about it then. But if not, we'll see you guys Monday. Hope you have a great weekend. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button on YouTube. Leave a lot of comments. I mean, the comments have been jumping lately. We love it. We love seeing you guys' takes on everything going on with the Mavs and, what you think about our thoughts on everything going on with the Mavs. So continue to do that. We like to, see the conversations going on, and we'll jump in there as well and keep the conversation going beyond just these podcasts. So appreciate y'all. Also go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review if you don't mind. That really helps us out. And be sure to subscribe there if you don't mind. So guys, appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned to DallasBasketball.com for more extensive game coverage on Luka's 73-point night. There's tons of stuff up right now, at least 4 things that you need to go read on DallasBasketball.com, and there will be much more to come throughout the night and into the early hours of the morning of Saturday. Y'all have a great one. We'll see you next time.